come along to our cabin in the wild, 'cause we're in for some good fishing, feeling easy, feeling free. Yes, we're in for some good fishing, Canada.
The Rocky Mountains to the Maritimes, set your reel and cast your line. Come on, let's go fishing, Canada.
I love it.
River, creek, lake or stream, and everywhere in between. Come on, let's go fishing, Canada.
The Fishing Canada Show is brought to you in part by Bowmen, the outdoor company, Muskol, serious bug protection, Prince Craft Boats, the more you know, the better we look, and Mercury, #1 on the water.
Together we'll go fishing, Canada.
Well, that's it right there.
To survive the outdoors, first you must separate fact from fiction. You see, there's people out there who actually believe that treating mosquito bites with first aid is the best solution after getting bit. For some, applying an ice pack, a frozen bag of peas, or a washcloth soaked in cold water will bring relief. Others resort to medications like antihistamines, anti-inflammatories, and anti-itching compounds. The lesson here is to not get bit. Sure, this contraption here is a surefire way to not get bit, but you won't get much accomplished unless beekeeping's your hobby. Nope, the only scientifically proven way to keep mosquitoes from actually biting you is to wear a repellent that contains DEET, like Muskol. It's serious bug protection. If you were to take a poll around the Fishing Canada office, a couple of things would prevail. One, our favorite fish is bass, both large and smallmouth. And two, the toughest time to catch bass is during the post-spawn period. Oh, that one stole my bait. He got a free lunch. Look. You little son of a...
On today's show, Mike and I are dealt the arduous task of trying to boat either species of post-spawn bass. Now, the good thing is, we're on an awesome body of water, but the bad thing is, these fish are fresh off the beds. The lake we're on today is small at about 100 acres and has a maximum depth of around 72 feet. The shoreline varies from swampy lowlands to granite rock cliffs which plummet into deep water. Both species of bass can be caught from opening weekend to closing day on this great little body of water.
When I'm fishing a lake with great potential, I always start the day with super high hopes, even though we're here at the worst time possible. We know where the fish are, we just have to make them bite. Pete and I are going to attack different parts of the lake and use very different patterns. Pete's going to use some finesse tactics like shaky and wacky worm rigs for largemouth, while I throw tubes, craws, and weight baits for smallies. Okay, so here I am. I'm out in the middle of the lake, virtually nothing around me. There's a point here, I got a point over here, an island over here, and in the back of these long bays that you can see is where all the fish in this lake spawn. There's beds everywhere. Smallmouth, largemouth, you name it, they're all back there. What happens though is after they spawn, the females move off and sort of, it's called post-spawn, and they sort of do nothing. They'll hang around deep water and feed on the first available food source, which is usually crayfish or perch. And in this case of this lake, there's no perch or panfish, there's rainbow smelt and lake trout. So they're going to move to the deep water, and they're going to be on humps and points with real close access to that deep water. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work the first break to that deep water, which is, I'm in 15 feet, and just out here in front of me is 37 feet, and then out in the middle of the lake, there's about 80 feet. And we're not that far from it. I could probably throw a stone and hit that deep water. Look how long this smallmouth is. Come here, big girl. You're hooked good. That's a skinny fish, but long. Why? Because if you look here, they've done spawning, they've exhausted themselves, they're a little light, but they're hungry. And when that water warms up and summer kicks in, they'll come shallow and they'll start eating stuff. But right now, they're just down there getting ready for summer. Post-spawn, beauty fish. They're still a little lethargic. They're weak from the spawn, and they're not going to want to chase too much down. So I'm going to fish the bottom, close to the bottom as I can. I'm going to tie on a jig head with a little craw to imitate that crayfish food source. All this is just a little, it's a 3-inch black sort of crayfish. Fire that on a jig head. That'll be weapon number 1. So that's a simple little setup, as easy as you can get. A lot of people will actually use a real crayfish for that, but when you're using this Berkeley Gulp and Berkeley live bait stuff, live bait's not required. It tastes, it's better than live bait, they say. Secondly, what I'm going to do is I've got a drop shot rig here. This is a little 16th ounce drop shot weight, and I've got a small octopus hook here about a foot up from it. So I'm going to be just off the bottom with this, and what I'm going to do with that is put a leech on it. And again, not a real leech. It looks like a real leech, but it's this yummy stuff right here. Where do you see this thing? It's even got the little sucker mouth on it right there. What you do with that is you just put the hook, little octopus hook, right through the sucker mouth, and bam, there's your little drop shot bait. Now, a lot of these techniques I'm doing were originally live bait tactics for live bait fishermen, but through fishing tournaments and competitive fishing, you're not allowed to use live bait. So guys have adapted to deep water tactics for slow fishing. So basically what I'm showing you here is even if you're not a competitive angler, is if you want to go out to a lake and catch fish and conventional baits aren't working, spinner baits and your topwater baits, that's because the fish are in not a negative mood, but they're deep and they're lethargic. And you're going to want to, most guys would go in and say, I guess it's just not good fishing today. It's good fishing, you just got to get down to them and fish slow with small baits. Fish. Must be little ones. Look at this, it's going to go right past everybody here. Maybe it's not little. Oh, it looks good from here. Nice, decent smallie though. Look at him spitting out stuff. That thing was heading for the middle of the lake. Look at that energy this thing's got. Wow, that craw's gone. I can't even see it. Easy now, girl. Little dinker. Disappeared. Edit, good. Where's me pliers? That thing was just hit the water and then took off sideways. It's heading for the middle of the lake. Barely hooked. Look at that. Bink. Cute little bass. Get in there. I want your friends you're with out here. See, I'm out here in nothingness. It's not the most picturesque scene, but there's bass all underneath me. Big ones too. I'm gonna catch me a big one up here off this island. They're gonna be stacked in there. All the females hanging out like a bunch of old ladies having tea. So, who did you spawn with this year, Martha? Well, sorry to interrupt your tea party, ladies.
Keeping children healthy and happy is a lot more complicated than it used to be. They're spending more time indoors than ever before, which means they're not building tree houses, catching bugs, or even playing tag. Studies show that fewer than 10% play outside daily. Most of our childhood experiences were filled with endless hours spent outside, camping in backyards, playing in neighborhood parks, or exploring the local woods. Is it a coincidence that Ritalin and attention deficit hyperactive disorder were unheard of back then? Research has recently shown that spending time outside in green places significantly reduces ADHD symptoms. In some cases, outdoor activities reduce the need for medication by as much as 50%. ADHD natural green treatment has endless possibilities. It's readily available, doesn't cost anything, and doesn't have any side effects. Let's go outside. It's just good medicine.
Since Mikey did the smallmouth thing, I figured I'd give largemouth a try. Hey, why not? Now, I know they'll be tough to catch, but they are a little more predictable than a smallie, and they move around a lot less. I'm just gonna work this bay here. This is one of the primary spawning bays, probably the second best largemouth bay in this lake. And when I say second best, because there's one that's bigger than this. So, but I'm gonna work it a little different. I know the guys actually that have hit this already, and they probably beat the shallows up real good in it. So this is post-spawn. These fish have been off the beds probably a week at least, maybe even longer. The three areas I'm fishing today are actually quite different. First is the extreme shallows with all the weeds, wood, and junk. This is always good for a fish or two. Next is the drop-off in front of the weedy shoreline, which is a good transitional area for either species of bass. Last is a bit of wood near the break line on the shoreline leading into the bay, which is a great spot to hold the fish that's on the move. That's a better fish. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a real good one. On the little jakey worm, and he's off the edge of the pads again. That's a nice fish. Right there, that's a nice fish. Oh. Oh yeah, that's a great largemouth right there. Come here, mama. I might want that hand, or I can probably lift him. Good looking fish. Come here, bud. Where are you? That's a better bass right there. We're starting out now. It's gonna take a while. By sliding into a medium-sized spawning bay, I can try different tactics at various structures trying to put some kind of pattern together. That's awesome. Okay, look at how skinny he is. I've got a 5-inch shaky worm, a 6-inch wacky worm, and a 5-inch Senko on a drop shot, all in dull or dark colors. These are 3 post-spawn baits that I'm very confident in. Really not typically stuck in the pads waiting for a top water or a flapping shad or something like that. The fish is out off a little break off the pads, so got one. What is we got here? Largemouth, I just saw the stripe. Not a bad one. Not great, but come on, jump for us. Did you jump? Come on. Oh, these fish look gorgeous in this clean water. Northern Ontario water, look at that. You see the look of that fish right there. Look at that. There's a little jump. Not much of a jump. He ate that down. He ate my worm. Oh, big time. Oh boy. Oh boy. Good looking fish. Nice, typical fish. That's the kind I'm really after today. Is that guy hooked right in the top of his mouth. I'm hoping for bigger, but expecting. I'd like to catch a boatload of those. Probably won't, but that's just a nice typical largemouth bass on almost any lake. In Ontario, at least. I pulled into the back of a bay just out in front of the weed bed. There's a break there that goes from 5 to 15 feet of water, which is absolutely perfect for post-spawners. The odd thing about an area like this is the big fish could school up there one day and be gone the next. In fact, they could be there for an hour and then gone. This truly is a crazy time of year to try and put something consistent together. Oh, I got it right there. Look at that fish. That is scary. That's an invisible, oh no. That's an invisible fish. Oh, she's caught all this heavy stuff. Oh, she's out. No, she's not out. Look at this. I gotta get this fish in the net quick. She's gonna jump. How am I gonna do that? Scoop her like that. Look at my line. The yo-yo technique. That's bizarre. That is totally bizarre. I come into the pad. Right there, and that fish was invisible. I looked and looked and looked at that fish. I couldn't see her, but I got her on light stuff. That's 12 pound. Whoa, 12-pound line. So I come into the pads in the morning. It was going to work a little bit. Wow, She was exactly where she's supposed to be, right in the opening like this. I just threw a silly cast in there. I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna chuck a cast in there, thinking I could see everything, obviously not seeing everything. Catching a great largemouth bass, like that's a good one. Fish, you fooled me, totally. Now I'm gonna see one here, I'm blowing in on this thing, I'm gonna probably see one and blow it totally. But, wow, 12-pound line.
I started fishing a 12-foot break line adjacent to a spawning area that was just loaded with fish. Unfortunately, they were all small ones, and big fish didn't get a chance to get to my bait. When you're faced with a situation like this, you have to think to yourself, do I stay and try and catch 20 tiny fish in hopes of getting a big one? Or do I move on and look for another area? When I make a move like the one I just did, I try to keep in mind that certain presentations consistently work. I was going to stick with the slow craw and the drop shot rig, but I was going to add one of my favorite early season bass presentations, a wake bait. This little bad boy, you can reel it as fast as you want, it just stays under the surface. It leaves a trail of destruction behind it. With the average crankbait, the harder you reel, the deeper the bait goes. With a wake bait, it stays just below the surface, and the speed of the retrieve only dictates the speed of the lure. What a bomb. Got one! As soon as it landed, that thing just folded up on it right there. Oh, come on. That's a duker. This thing was way out there, man. I knew it. Deep water. Top water. He's taking me into the swamp. Oh, yes. Oh, man, it just folded up out there on that thing. Look at that black beauty. That's awesome. This thing, I can't describe the feeling you get when you get hit on a wake bait. It's better than a topwater bait because they don't explode on it, they just come up behind it and slurp it. That's just awesome. Oh, it's biting me again. Woo! Oh man, it's such a cool feeling casting that thing out into the middle of the lake and just watching it warble like that and then fish come up and smash it. God, that was great.
Time is probably the biggest downfall when you're fishing for any species during the post-spawn. Eventually though, you should be able to figure the fish out. Now, since I'm on such a small portion of the lake, time is definitely on my side. Come on, fish. Oh, it's a nice one too. Oh, it's a big one. Big smallie, I think. Oh, yeah. That's a good smallie. Fish was out in front of the pads, just off that. Wow, that's a big one. That's a good fish. That is a nice smallmouth bass. Look at the size of that fish. I may net him. Just because it's a small mouth, and his mouth isn't so easy to get a thumb into. And I want to get him in the boat. And I don't want to ruin the spot either. How was that for a smallie off the lily pads? Now, I was telling you I didn't want to get smallmouth bass, but I'll take my words back, I guess, on that one. That's a duker. Big dude on the little shaky worm. Good smallie, long fish. I mean, look how long that fish is. Oh, yes, lily pads right in front of us. I threw to the far side of the lily pads, up on the break, but not in the pads. Here we go. Before I get into these pads, back myself off again. Okay. Slowly but surely. If I keep getting a 3.5 to 4 pound fish every, or 4.5, whatever they are, every 20 minutes, I'll be happy.
There's a nice one right here. Holy, this feels heavy. Whoa! What are we dealing with? Come on, show yourself. Problem is with this, you can't pull too hard because the hook's so small. You know, you're using light line. You just gotta let the fish do what it wants. Here. Oh! The only good thing is I'm out in deep water and I got nothing. I don't have to worry about them breaking me off on anything. Let's see you. Show yourselves. Looked like a good one. Oh, that's not a bad smallie. This point's stacked. I don't know if it's got the belly yet, but it's long. Whoa! Easy. Look at this, eh? 2 hands, one on the trolling motor, one on the net. Big smallie. I'm getting tired. I'm running out of breath. Okay, this is it. This is it. I think I got this fish in it. Yeah! What a porker! I gotta catch my breath here. Now, see what I'm talking about here is all these fish are in this deep water. You can see how skinny this fish is. It's probably just gonna start feeding for summer. But it's down there in deep water getting ready, and these are rainbow smelt-eating fish. So they hang out off this 20 feet, right off the edge of the 50 feet, and they're just gonna start eating fish like there's no tomorrow. That's a beauty. Still skinny, but I'll take it.
Fishin' Canada Hotspots, the ultimate fishing guide presents Getting There.
Today's hotspot is a shoreline leading into the largest spawning bay in Hastie Lake. The waypoint on your screen will take you right there. As with most early season bass fishing, definitely cast close to shore. However, do not neglect firing random casts directly away from the shore. Post-spawn fish cruise randomly for whatever reason, and sometimes a cast into the wild blue yonder will pay big dividends. For more hotspots like this one, check out our website.
To get to Hastie Lake, we took Highway 400 north to 69 north and then took Highway 17 west. We traveled west to Algoma Mills and then to Lauzon Aviation on Lake Lauzon. From there, it's a quick float plane trip into the Great Cottage on beautiful Hastie Lake. Lauzon Aviation is a family-owned company that's been in business since 1959. They offer 9 fly-in cabins on 9 different lakes. The flights are anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes each way.
Visit fishingcanada.com for more details. Fishin' Canada was brought to you in part by the Rocket Fishing Rod, MyOutdoorTV.com, outdoor television on the internet, Stearns, the life jacket experts, and RadioWorld.ca. Closed captioning provided by Ontario Tourism. Go fish in Ontario.com. For more Fishin' Canada, visit fishingcanada.com.